that it is a very necessity if you are going to sell some application, because your end users always need to have some kind of documentation that will be helpful to use your application. Okay, guys, I believe that this is very simple and like I said, you can do so. If you have any, thank you and see you next time. And by this ID, I always know who borrowed that book, meaning this detailed information. So let's connect to this database. First of all, we need to create a Movisio Forms application. And I want my Excel file to be in the same folder as the Microsoft database. So I will say here final output directory is dropped. Okay, and now I will save all. Okay, so it is saved in the same folder as my database. Let's run it. Okay, so let's connect to our database. For connecting, we are going to use Microsoft Alteryx database objects, other components, and I will use this ADO connection. So to connect to my database, I need to generate a connection string. So I'll put here build. First of all, you need to select a provider. For example, if you are going to use, if you want to connect to some SQL server, you would use this provider. To connect to Oracle database, you would need this provider. If you want to connect to Microsoft Access database 2007 or earlier, you would need this provider. But for our version 2003, we need Microsoft Chapter 40. Next. And now select our database. So it is a book right here, but I will use a route event. That way I can move my application wherever I want. Okay, I will say I don't need this login font. And now, let's see, our database has two tables, book and borrow. So, first of all, I need to decide what approach do I want to have. If you want to use SQL statements to work with your database, you need to use this ADO query, but I prefer using this ADO table. Also, you can use a combination. For example, this ADO command is very interesting, but I'll leave it up to you to investigate further. And also, this stored procedure is used, for example, then when you want to connect to some databases like Microsoft SQL Server. It is sometimes very useful to run a stored procedure on a server itself, therefore you need to use this component. But let's connect to our central database. So I have two ADO tables here. I will say both of those use the same connection. ADO connection this. And the first table is going to read from a book, and the second one from borrow. So I will name them accordingly. Okay, and now I need something to show the real data from our database. To do that, I need to use database controls. These data controls. For example, I use this database script. Now we need to realize something. We have actual data set, which contains data, of course, and we have components that will show that data. So we need something in between to help us communicate, and that is the data source. So for each table, I need a data source. So I'll call this and I'll say that it uses our table component, and I'll call this borrow, which uses our component. And now, let's see how it works. As you can see, all this arrow here, it means that this data source will take some data or records from the actual database, and it will send them to all database controls for a review, for edit, for anything they need. So all I need is to take some of these controls. Okay. Some of these, for example, these typically, and each of them has this data source property. So I'll say that in this grid, I want to show all records from book table. And don't forget to set active to true. Okay. Now I'll double click this grid and arrange these columns, for example, level 17. Okay, and now let's see. This is the actual data from the database itself. So, for example, if I want to change this year to 2005, when I go in the database it is automatically stored there. And I haven't wrote a single line of code. I can revert this. Just see the status of the records. For example, this is error. But if I type anything, it is in the edit state. And it will be in the edit state until I move to another record. And once I move to another record, this is saved automatically to my database. Okay, so as you can see, we can use this grid to show actual data and to modify them and store them back to our database. But we will now show something else, and that is, look, if you have two grids. So the first grid showed us the book table, but let's use this second grid to show borrow table. Okay, so this is on borrow table. Now, I can say that this table has its master source, which is book. So what does that mean? That means that this is a master-detail relationship where the master is the book and the detail is borrow. So I specified here that my master source is the book, but now I need to specify what are the master fields. So how to do it? First of all, we need to check out database. If we use this relationship, we see that the book has ID, and it is 1 to infinite relationship. So meaning by ID and book ID. So I need to specify ID from a book and book ID from borrow. ID and book ID. And okay. Now let's see what happens. Now we have, as you can see, here I selected the first record, meaning the record that has ID 1. Automatically in this detailed grid, I can see only records that are related to this book. Only for the book that has ID 1. If I click here, I automatically see only ID for the second book. So it is automatically filtered. Okay, so this is like in here. Here I have 3 records, like in here. Okay, and I have 2 records here. Okay, so this is a simple master detail relationship. Also notice that we haven't wrote a single line of code yet. So what we can do in this database, for example, we can say right click here, fields editor, and right click here and edit fields. So we can say I don't want to show my data in this grid, I want to show them in some edit fields. So I can, for example, select this all and simply drag it off here. And I can also use a navigator. And I say this navigator works with the book table. So, as you can see, I automatically change the record. But as I change the record, it is automatically, the values are automatically changed in these edit fields. Okay, so if I change here something like this, I can say save, and it is automatically saved. I can add another record, or don't, right? So there are many operations that are automatically available, but also I can do things programmatically. For example, I will add a button, and I will say the book, that is this one. I want to insert another record, and field by name. Field by name is name, and that field is, let's see what is its type. It is a text, author is also text, and here is a number. So I can say as string equals new book. The same thing I will do for the author. And also the same thing I will do for year. Now we saw that year is a number. Okay, it is not text. As integer equals, for example, 2010. And to save everything to a database, I will use those. Okay, I don't need to specify ID, it will be generated automatically. I see. I need to close it here. So, I click here, and it added a new record straight to my database. Okay, so that is the way you can add a new record programmatically. You can also use, for example, the book delete. To delete some records, for example, I will add another button. But you always need to know what records are you on. For example, I'm looking at this record here that has ID 3, and if I say delete, that record will be deleted. Okay. Also, if I say delete this record, it will automatically delete its detailed records because we specified master detailed relationship. Okay. So you saw here how add a new record, how to delete existing one, and how to edit existing one. We can, for example, show how to sort data. For example, let's say this book, I want to sort it by year or by name. So I will say in this field names, I want to sort it by name. As you can see, it automatically sorted by name. And then I want to say sort it by author. Okay, or just by author. So it is very simple. You just specify in this field names, or you can say, I'll say descending. If you want to sort it that way. Also, you can use filter property to say, for example, name equals filtered is true. And now, as you can see, I see only the record or the records where year is 2000. Or I can say it like this. Right. So you can use that property as well. Now you see how to filter data, how to sort them out, and how to search them. Well, to search some data, we can use navigate method. Not the navigate, but locate method. So these are search options. So partition key is okay, and I want to search this book table. Locate in this in the card here. I want to locate something. Edit some edit box, for example. I will edit some edit box, edit field, and I'll simply say search. Okay. So let's say 199. Found. So it found the record where the year is 1999, and it automatically positioned the cursor on that record. That is very important. Okay. If I say 2000, again it found the record and it positioned the cursor on that record. And if I say something that isn't here, not found. So you need to specify what column are you looking for, what value are you looking for, and what are the search options. So that will be about it. And well, there are many things about databases. This is just scratch on the surface. There's so many things to say about databases, and we cannot simply cover it in one video. But for this level, I hope that you now saw how easy it is to simply connect to some database, to show data from some table, to create master detail relationship, how to sort some data by some columns, how to filter data, how to add them programmatically, how to delete them programmatically, and how to search something. I think that is pretty much enough for now. Once you cover that, we can continue to some more complex issues like how to use something like client data sets, and or how to connect to some more complicated databases like Microsoft SQL Server, and how to run stored procedures and such. But for now, I believe this is enough. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Hi everyone, and welcome again. Today I'm going to talk about multi-threading. We use additional threads when we want to avoid our application to be frozen while doing some heavy work. For example, or simply when we want to speed up our work. For example, we have a form here that has a button sort. What it will do is randomize some data field that has 50,000 numbers, and the maximum number is 1,000. So it will sort those numbers by using double sort. So let's run this. Now I've clicked this button, but I'm trying to move this window and nothing works. This application is actually frozen, and the only thing I can do now is to wait while it's done sorting, and now it is. So as you can see, it really takes some time, and I cannot do pretty much anything but to wait to this operation to be completed. So I want to avoid that. I want to be able to use my main thread or my main window while the sorting is done in the background. So I'm going to create an additional thread. The best way to use threads is by using this thread object. There are also some other variations by using IDE components and such, but I would recommend using this thread object. So I'll create a new one, and now I need to specify a class name. For example, the sort thread. for debugging purposes, but right now we don't need that. So after I click OK, this unit2 is generated, and it has our class, and it is inherited from Thread. So our class has two methods. This is the execute method. Execute method represents thread. So what do you want to do inside your thread? You simply place in this execute method. And you have this sort thread method. This is nothing but a constructor, and it says, do you want, when you create your thread, do you want to create it as suspended, or do you want to run your thread immediately after it's created? Okay, so, and this is our CTP code. So thread code must be inside this execute method. And now what I want is to simply copy this here to here. Okay. Also, this data field is inside my T-form1. It is here. So I need to include this header if I want my thread to be aware of my data field. Also, we need to specify where it is inside T-form1. Okay, so on my Form1 there is a data field, and that is the one. It has 50,000 elements. And now I'm using bubble sort to sort it out. Also, you have here button 1 caption done. So I need to signalize when my sorting is complete. I want to change my button caption to done. I can do it from inside the thread, but I need to create, I need to call my synchronize method. Synchronize. It's not safe to update Windows GUI applications from inside the thread itself. Because GUI applications and Visio in general is not thread safe, and therefore you need to update from inside some method by using synchronize. Synchronize will signal a main thread that something needs to be updated in your GUI, and it will do it by itself, not from inside the thread. But those are some deeper technical issues I don't want to discuss right now. When I call synchronize, I need to specify what method is going to be used to update GUI, and I'm going to use this method here. That is already been prepared, and it's called update caption. So I'll add its prototype here. Okay, and now I need to specify what caption do I want to change. Caption of my button 1. Okay, and now what is the name of that method? Update caption, and I'm going to do it here. So when I want to update my GUI inside my main form, I will simply call this method synchronize, and I'm going to say synchronize this method update caption, and update caption will update the GUI, meaning the caption of my button. So let's see, and also one thing here. Now I need to create a thread that will actually do a sort. In order to use my thread class, I need to include this header, and it is unit2.h. This is what we needed, because this is sort thread. And now I can create this object. The sort thread, my thread. Now, do I want to create it suspended, or do I want my thread to be suspended but run it afterwards? I will simply run it immediately, meaning this will be false. This means right after this my thread is going to be created, it will run immediately this execute method, meaning this bubble sort. And usually I would need to now specify delete my thread, but I can also say here free on terminate. This means that immediately after this execute method is completed, the thread will destroy itself. I don't need to specify delete my thread here. So let's see. This is not going to be necessary now, because our caption is going to be updated from inside this update caption, which is going to be synchronized. Sort, and now as you can see, it is sorting in the background. I can move my window, I can do whatever I want because my application is not locked. Now I simply, like I said, can do anything I want, and now it's finally sorted out in the background. And that is how we use threads. So the important thing is to remember when you use thread, you have this execute method, and each body contains the code that we want to run in our thread. And this constructor will determine, do I want to create my thread as suspended, or do I want to run it immediately upon creation. So this is all that was necessary to create and run a thread. I could also say here that my thread is suspended, but to say my thread. I just added it for some reason, for example, to specify priority and to say its priority is higher. And after I specify that, I can say then start doing it, start executing it. And as you can see, the important thing is that we freed up our main thread and it's not blocked, and now we can use it as well. And like I said, don't forget when you are updating GUI user interface from inside the thread, you cannot simply just say here form one button, one caption equals something. You need to update it using synchronize, meaning all GUI updates should be inside some methods, for example, update caption, and this method should update the GUI, and it should be called by using synchronize. Okay, I believe that this is enough for today to simply for you to simply realize what threads are and why are they used. It is, like I said, to do some heavy work to not let our application to be frozen and simply to speed up things, right? Also, we can use, for example, critical sections and semaphores, but I will cover it in some other video because I don't have the time right now, so it will have to wait. So that's all for now. If you have any questions regarding threads, please be free to ask. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Hello guys, and welcome again. Today I'm going to show you how to add multi-language support to your application, meaning that you can have your user interface translated to a bunch of other languages and in the same application. So I'm going to create a new Visual Fonts application, and I'm going to create something really simple just for demonstration. For example, personal info, something that just has a few components in it. Okay, and I can add, for example, checkbox here. And the button. Okay, so this is a sample user interface, and what I want is when I run this application that I can have it available, for example, on Croatian language, which is my native English language, or any other that I want. So first I need to save everything. Okay, and once I've saved everything, I need to go to this other and run resource wizard. Okay, next, and we need to select which project we want to add multi-language support. That is one, it's already selected. Next, now I need to specify which languages do I want to have translated for. I'll select the Croatian, which is my native language, and I'll say English United States. Next, finish. Yes. Okay, what happens now is when I go to this project manager, I can see a Croatian version of this project one and the English version, English United States version of the project one. I will activate this Croatian version and then open unit 1. And what I have here are the resource strings that I need to translate now. For example, this is the original form, and this is the translated one. Now you can compare if you missed something or something like that. Right? The next step is to close page, save everything, and build. Then in your project, you must activate this project one exam, and then in your project languages, you need to say which language you want to set to active. Croatian, and I want this, and this is the Croatian version of our application. Okay, so I can set English version. Okay, and so forth. Also, if I add something else on my form, as you can see, this is the English version, but if I select Croatian version, it will not be here. So what you need to do is to save, update localized projects, save, okay, and build all. Now let's see. Okay. So all other localized projects are updated and they all have this button here. Right, and that is how you can, on a real simple, in a real simple way, add multi-language support to your application. But what is really useful that you can select a language in a runtime, meaning that I can, for example, set this button and say Croatian, and add another button that will say English. Okay, so what I want is when I click this button, I want automatically my user interface to be translated to Croatian, and of course I click this button to have English translation. So in order to do that, you need to have Unix classifier. Okay, you need to get that file somehow. It can be found in a rich edit example from the older versions of C++ River, but it is not really hard to find on the internet. So you need to simply find this SCAR file, and what you need to do is to add the project and simply edit. Okay, and so far we didn't have to include not even one line of code, but if you want to use a runtime or language change, then we need to add this file and include its header. Now, to automatically change my language to Croatian in runtime, I need to add this part of code. Okay, and for the English version, this part is code. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is again, to update all localized projects. Okay, and to build all. Now let's see. Okay, Croatian, face Croatian. English, now let's see. This is the English version, Croatian version. Changed in runtime. Okay, so it is really a minimal bunch of code. All these constants you can find on NSDN. You can see the link here, and for each language there is a sub-language that you can use, so check this out if you have a need for it. But like I said, to enable this runtime language change, you simply need to find this init plus file. Okay, that's it folks. I hope that you find this interesting, and like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Hi everyone, today I'm going to do a remake of one of my previous videos, and I will show you how to download the file from the internet. And not just how to download the file, but how to show download progress, how to cancel a file that is already downloaded, and how to limit the download speed. So there are pretty much interesting things to see here. Okay, so first of all, we are going to create a new cell phone application, and I will add an edit field here in which I will place a link of a file that I want to download. Okay, so it will be on the application, and I will use this button, which will initiate the downloads. So downloads will need to use HTTP components, and I will simply name it download. Okay, so how to download the file? Clicking this button, I will, first of all, I need to decide where do I want to save my file when downloading. I can, for example, save it in my memory or on a hard drive, so I will use hard drive, for example. File stream. I'm going to create a file stream object that will be a location for my downloaded file. So I need to specify location, for example, this, and I want to create a file. Okay. At the end of everything, I will simply delete my file stream object, not just file stream object. So how to download? Well, first of all, I need to, there's this object here, its name is download. And I'm initiating the download by using this method get. Okay, this method get requires my URL of the file that I want to download and the location. So my URL is stored here in this edit one component. Edit one, text. Okay, and the location where I want to store my file is in this file stream. So let's see. I have here my local C drive, and I'm going to run the application. Okay, download. And as you can see, it's not the download file, it's not yet completed. Okay, now it's complete, and it goes. So we have successfully downloaded the file. Now let's see how to show progress, download progress. To show download progress, first we need to add a progress file. Okay, and we need to use HTTP events. We can use two of them. For example, onboard begin. So when download begins, in this case, I will set my progress bar position to 0, and progress bar maximum is able to count next. This is actually this will actually tell us how many bytes are there in the total file. So how big is the file, right? And after that, we need to specify on block, which has this file download is in progress. So while download is in progress, I will update my progress bar. Progress bar position is table count. Table count will tell me how many bytes are already downloaded in this moment. And to update my progress bar position, I will use application process messages. Okay, I can also use on backend, and it will figure when a download completes or ended or ends unexpectedly or by simply cancel download. But in this case, I don't need it. So let's see. I will open up here and now click download. As you can see, this progress bar it shows how it shows the actual download progress and it's completed and my file is here. Okay, so I can do it again. As you can see, file created and it's still downloaded on the internet. Okay, so that is pretty much simple. What I did was I used this component, HTTP component, and I used the file stream for the location. So I simply called this method get. This method did initiate the download. I told this file is, and I said that to say this download work begin is executed when download begins. In this case, it will set my progress bar position to 0 and its maximum position to maximum bytes, meaning the file size. And downloading, so the actual position, meaning how many bytes are downloaded, and update this position in my application. And that is a bit more simple. But sometimes I need to cancel download that is already in progress. And I can do it like this. It is very simple. I again use this download component, this here. And it has a method disconnect. Now let's see. I download the file, disconnect, and that's it. And it simply start to download it. Okay, so that is how to cancel a file download. But I can also limit download speed or upload speed from this HTTP component. In order to do that, I need to use this in the intercept throttle component. So I will put it here. I will name it simply throttle. Okay, and now this is an intercept component, so I will need to add it to some component, and it will be our HTTP component, intercept, using throttle. So this component uses this throttle as an interceptor. So what is important in this throttle? Well, this is the second. So using this we can limit how many, actually using these two, how many bytes can we maximally receive, meaning download, and how many bytes can we send or upload. For example, I will, if it's set to 0, that means unlimited, but let's say that we want to limit it to some speed. I will add here 3 components. First one will say 50 kilobytes per second, second one will be 100, and this one will be 200. Okay, so what I need to specify is simply this second or this one. In this case, if I want to limit my download speed, if I want to limit upload speed, then I would limit this property. So how to do it? I click this button, then this throttle. This second equals. Now I need to specify how many bytes this one is, how many, what is the limit like on this button, which is 50 kilobytes per second. I need to calculate how many 50 kilobytes per second is in bits. These are bytes, these are bits. Okay, so this is like 50 kilobytes. 100 kilobytes, it is a bundle. And 200 kilobytes is one bundle. Now let's see. I'm downloading the file, and I'm now limited to 50 kilobytes per second, and as you can see, it's very slow. Now I will set to 100 kilobytes per second, and it is faster, 200, and it is still, it is a little more faster. Now 200, 100, 50, okay, and cancel. And that is how you can limit download speed by using this property. And like I said, don't forget to add it to this HTTP component in here, intercept. Okay guys, I hope you learned something from this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to place them in the comments, and like I said, you can always write down what would you like to see in my videos, and thanks again, and see you next time. Hello guys, Guys, and welcome. Today we are going to talk about actions and action lists. So what are those and why to use them? First of all, we are going to create a list of application, and let's say that our task is to create some text editor, for example. So what we are going to do is to create a toolbar and reach edit control. I'm going to align it to the client, and now I'm going to add action lists and images. So action list is nothing but a container for all our future actions, and image list will contain icons for some of those actions. So I'll connect these two, and I want to show those icons also here in my toolbar. I must say show captions in toolbar. So what I want to do is to add here buttons that say select all, copy, delete, paste, and such. The problem is I can use copy only if something is selected here, or I can use delete if something is selected here. So I would need to write my own code for that, and that will take me some time. Right? Therefore, you can use actions that will automatically enable you to use those edit features for selected components. For example, I'll say new button, and new button has some standard action that is performed on some edit component, and it will be select all.